The federal government has approved a new revenue boost scheme aiming to annually generate 3.8 trillion and 160 billion from non-oil and oil ventures respectively. The senior special assistant to the vice president on media and publicity, Laulu Akonde, who disclosed this, noted that the significant progress that has been made on accelerating revenue mobilization reforms, which is a derivative of the federal government's strategic revenue growth initiative. He added that the initiative is meant to address some of the fiscal challenges of the federal government, as it is intended to raise Nigeria's oil and non-oil revenue potential. Well, for further analysis and evaluation of the potential earnings from this sector, Mr. Kesim Garuba is the MD CEO, APT Securities and Mutual Funds Limited. He joins us via the telephone. Thank you, Mr. Garuba, for joining us. We appreciate your time.
I'm happy to be with you.
Yeah. Now, the federal government has approved a new revenue, of course, a new revenue boost scheme, which was, of course, aimed at generating about 3.8 trillion annually from non-oil and, of course, 160 billion from oil ventures, respectively. So talk to us about these. What does this mean? How excited are you? And, of course, how do you think this will pan out?
Well, we're highly delighted, but we know this is not the first time. If you remember, immediately after independence, the non-oil contribute between 60 to 70% of our revenue. Come 1973-74, when we had the oil boom, at that time, the oil revenue overshoot all the other sectors of the economy and were carried away. Until 1983, when we had the economy recession due to the fall of the price of crude oil. And from that time, we have this up and down severally. When the price of crude oil goes up, we forget about the non-oil. By the time the price crashed, we all found ourselves in recession. Remember 2017 and 2017 recession due to the fall of the price. And the same thing what happened during the COVID. So Nigerians should understand that we have many other alternative sources of revenue. And the earlier we identify them and we move up. Today, if you look at out of the 36 states, Lagos have the high generated revenue. Lagos is not generating the revenue internally from the oil. The oil they have is non-issue. But they generated it from the manufacturer, from the services, and other human factors. And the something over the north, they have a lot of agriculture, and they were blessed with the minerals. I'm telling you, if you look at the gold now, you will see that even in the gold, we have a lot of it that can generate billions of dollars if we look into it. But we are very scarce into it. And these are the issues that is affecting our non-oil revenue.
But one wonders how the government intends to achieve this 3.8 trillion naira from non-oil revenue.
Look,
it's more like
we have no choice.
Okay.
We have no choice because now, even what the OPEC asks us to produce, we cannot produce it. Despite the price of crude oil is about $110, we cannot meet our target. So if you cannot do it, you have to look somewhere else. And that is the truth. The price is up, but we cannot even meet by production. So we all look for somewhere else, and we have many potential. Believe me sincerely, if Nigeria look down into the minerals, we have abundance of several minerals that can pay us billions of naira. We have agriculture, we have other services. Today, telecom has no business with the oil, but generates about 18% of the GDP.
Right.
So when you look at it, this is just one service. What if you take the transportation by water, by air, by road, by rail? What do you think will contribute to the revenue of the nation? Now you move to agriculture, which employ more than 70% of our youth and full of unemployment. So the truth of the matter is just we have to be focused on redirection. Today, look at Brazil, look at Mexico. They are generating billions of dollars without looking into the oil. So if others have done it, we can do it matter. They just can't look at Malaysia. They don't have oil. But look at the billions they are generating. Do you know that Nigeria is the hub center of entire Africa? If it comes by the air, we are equidistant from Nigeria to Johannesburg, Nigeria to Kenya, Nigeria to Cairo, Nigeria to Senegal, Dakar. We are the natural hubs. No any other country that is as lucky as we are. Because naturally we are at the center.
Okay.
And if we just improve the airline, it's enough to connect the whole entire Africa and beyond.
Right.
Because of our size and our location. So come to the sea, come to the rain, and we have the market. Everybody wants to be associated with Nigeria because nobody can even proud of our market in the entire Africa.
Mr. Garba, let me quickly come in here. This, of course, it's it's laudable initiative, one must say. But looking at some of the sectors that we have, what sector do you think we can, tap into to meet up this target? This perhaps is a tall order for the federal government.
Let me tell you, we can meet this target in 3 ways. One, through manufacturing, because we have a market. So if we decided to reduce the importation, I just read in the media that Rwanda, because they have started assembling smartphones, they stopped importing second-hand handsets. Do you know how many lines are in Nigeria functioning? Over 200 million lines. And they need phone. So if you stop this and assemble it in Nigeria, how much do you think that will generate? Just for assembling smartphones. So in the manufacturing side, all we need to do is to review our tax. So once we review our tax, the importation, that all these second-hand clothes, second-hand handset, second-hand Tokumbo car, and what have you, reduce them to the barest minimum and improve the local production, you can generate a lot of revenue. That is one. Two, let us look at the mine. We have abundance of minerals across the nation. All these insights that we are seeing, especially in the north, go and see. They were perpetuated predominantly where there is a lot of minerals there. So if the government takes in charge of the security and employs professional company to come and deploy there, we'll have enough gold to generate revenue. We have platinum, we have so many iron that we can generate revenue. And we don't need to be selling raw materials. Let them generate and process them. And if we do that, our team of youth of unemployment will be employed and we'll have more revenue for the state, for the nation, and for everybody.
But how well really do you think we're even maximizing these potentials and some of these commodities that you talked about?
You see, it's very simple. It's very simple. Look, I'm telling you, telecom generates 18%. 20 years we privatized the telecom. And this is what we. They have just started privatizing the roads. Do you know how much revenue will generate if you privatize most of these national roads and allow them to invest wisely? It takes the federal government more than 20 years to just extend 2 lines into 3 lines from Abuja to Lagos, Lagos to Ibadan. If you give it to a private investor, you can have 5 lanes by the right, 5 lanes by the left. And before you know it, generate multiple of revenue. Because toll gates were abolished, which were never abolished even in the developed country. That is another sector. Take the other sectors of the economy. Even the transportation system, the railway. We can generate a lot of revenue. Take the air and take the water system. So we have many areas that we can do, even back to the agriculture. Do you know how much we spend fish, which we didn't need to do. The something was chicken and egg. So the agriculture in terms of animal, in terms of husbandry, do you know how much million we spend in importing cow milk, which we don't need to do. All these, when other countries have tested it and proved right, we can do the same. So there is many ways because we have the population and we have the market.
The market is here. Yes. Like you said, of course, the market is here. We have the population. We have the right environment. Again, let's look at, highlight some of the challenges that we have at the moment. And perhaps maybe the federal government is not considering some of those challenges at the moment. For instance, take telecoms, for instance, or maybe power, for instance. In the telecom sector, of course, the issue of multiple taxation is still there, because some of the operators are lamenting that the cost of energy is impacting on their operations as well. And so it's like it's like trickling down to some of these sectors as well, like a ripple effect in the economy. Have we considered these challenges?
Look, in a challenge, it's never deterrent to a focus and determined leadership. In whatever you decided to go, you will come across some challenges. But ability to overcome those challenges and move on. Let's take, for instance, the issue of telecom. Do you know that a lot of our telecom use Genco? They use diesel, and the price of diesel has almost tripled. Yet you did not hear any of the telecom services stop operating. You get your service and you keep on communicating. How do they bear the cost and manage the exorbitant price of the diesel, and yet they are in profitable position? That is the wisdom of capitalism. In a capitalist economy, it manages any situation and move on. They push the cost to the consumer, and the consumer have no choice than to bear it and move on. So whatever the challenges that we have, we can overcome them if we are determined. All this insecurity of the road, if you privatize the road, they will reduce to the barest minimum. Not any private investor will invest billions on the road, only for some people to come and start kidnapping on that road. You will not allow it to happen. Because you know, if that happens, there will be no movement, and when there is no movement, no revenue for him.
I mean, recently, of course, some of the operators in the telecom sector came up and said, look, while increasing the cost of data, the cost of SMEs, and by 40%. And of course, we understand that some the Association of consumers have also subscribers rather have kicked against that move as well. I mean, how do we balance this? The fact that the cost of operation is impacting heavily on the telecom sector, and the tax issue is still there.
Yes, every human being is natural to kick against change. But you have alternatives. Today, those who go for IPP, Independent Power Project, I'm one of them, and I know what I have been paid, but I'm getting my services. You that rely on the subsidized power by the government, you get the power. You spend more than what I do, because me, I have a reliable supplier, I don't need to buy diesel. So the cost of the diesel did not affect my charges. But you that rely on subsidized power by the government, you didn't get the power, you end up buying diesel, and it costs you 3 times what ought have cost you. And the other issue is that because the government remain in the power, let the government hands off and let the private run it. Everybody will pay for the price, and at the end of the day, you will see that the power will be reliable and stable, just like as what you obtained in UK, in New York. Go and ask those who reside there. Do they get subsidized power? The answer is no. Do they get regular power? The answer is yes. Do they pay for the power? The answer is yes. So why not here in Nigeria? Today, the private universities are running successfully, despite the exorbitant prices, because the federal government were crippled by the House of Trump. So if you go for federal government, which is cheaper, your child will wait 2 to 3 years when his colleague in the private university might have finished their university.
All right. Let me take you back, to the mining sector that you talked about earlier.
Yes.
Yes, we have some of them, of course, in the north. For instance, in Zamfara, we have gold, right? And so
Yes.
let's look at...
It's not only Zamfara, across Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger,
right.
Kwara.
Let's look at the players.
Ocean.
Now, let's look at the players in this sector. I mean, there are concerns that we have foreigners who have taken advantage of this, and we rarely have local players in this sector. How do we think we can encourage and bring in local players to ensure that we maximize this sector?
It's selfishness by the side of the government. Everybody wants to own what he did not deserve to. Most of the people who are digging, they are doing it illegally. They don't pay anything. And the truth of the matter that if these lands were allocated to the company that have the capacity to do it, they pay the due rent and take care of the charge of the security. They will extract it and make money. Go to Ocean. How many companies are generating tons of gold per quarter? I know some of these companies, and they are doing it very well, and it's officially known, and they take care of all the royalty, the rent, the community, and what have you. But up north, none. So the truth of the matter that if you want to do away with this one, advertise it and give it to those who have the capacity, both in technical and otherwise, not those who claim to have it when they don't have.
But do we have Nigerian, companies or the indigenous companies who have the capacity to operate efficiently well in this sector?
Let me tell you, it's just a matter of time. If you don't have the Nigerian, it's not your problem. When the oil was started extracting, the Mobil, the Chevron, the Shell, they all came and do it. Today, we are selling it to local investors. We have Sevlat, we have Ondo, we have many others local who can learn now. You can't start with your own when you don't have the technical and the financial capacity. That's somewhere. Globally, there is companies that are very reputable and known in this business. And they are willing to come to Nigeria if we are willing to give them the rights.
We can't talk about non-oil sector without looking at the aggregate sector. A lot, of course, needs to be done in that particular sector, from the produce in the farm to the value chain, the supply, and of course the demand side and the supply side of the sector as well. These are a whole lot of issues. When do you think we can begin conversations around this initiative?
You see, we have started it. I'm telling you, before this government, only 2 fertilizing companies are producing. Today, we have over 30 to 40 fertilizers plants that are production. And the price of bag of cement have moved from 5,000 to 20,000. And people are still buying because without fertilizer, you cannot get the desired yield. So what we are seeing that the citizens have done it by Anko Barwas, to continue that way. Now, you also have to help those who can process it. If you look at the rice processing company that today are available in the country, there are hundreds, and they have started perfecting it. Why? Because the imported rice was banned. So since you stop importing, you have to look inward, and the inward start improving. And today, you won't even know that this is Nigerian rice or it's foreign rice. At times, they process the Nigerian rice and package it as foreign rice because of our mentality. We want to buy foreign, and they sell to us. But really, it's Nigerian. So we have seen it there. If we do it in rice, we can do it in wheat. If we can do it in wheat, we can do it in gari, we can do it in yam, we can do it in so many things. Irish potato is not locally made. Today, we have many of it, and it is working. So what stops us doing the same in the others? Do you know how many tons that we produce of Irish potato? You can see even from the name. It's not Nigerian, but Nigerian can produce it. Apply to any other. Most of the crops you see across the world, we can do it. And we have the land. We have the population, so we can do it by irrigation or by rainfall. or bust. So therefore, all we need to do to encourage those arms and to ensure that they succeed.
Can we ever spot importing, especially within the agri sector, and of course some of the value along the value chain, the food processing side segment of that sector? Can we ever spot stop importing? Because as of today, there's also a record and statistic that the country is importing even tomato paste, up to toothpick as well.
Those ones are very simple, because if you go to 1960, 1970, they even did a film. They call it Babalarai. Everybody knows it in the north. It's what advocated in the internals and promoted the production of cotton.
Okay.
At that time, we are exporter of cotton.
Okay.
But when the government relax, it relax. So the same thing you apply it. Is it tomato? Is it? Those ones are just what you can produce in less than 3 months. Those are very simple and easy. It's tested, and we can do it anywhere, anytime.
Okay. All right. I think we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Garba Kofi.
Thank you.
He's MVCO APT Securities and Mutual Fund Limited. Thank you for your time on Business Breakfast. You're still watching Business Breakfast. Still to come after the break, Central Bank of Nigeria issues guidelines to other financial institutions as full compliance with the provisions of the guidelines takes effect from January 1, 2023. Well, that's our next talking point after this moment. Please stay with us.